Right, I'll clarify some of these at the end, but let's see what we have right now. So, Eight of Wands, as your underlying energy, this does talk about, the pace kind of picking up. They're sometimes called the arrows of love, right? So this can be communication, but it's always the energy's picking up. So we're kind of, if it's communication, it's messaging back and forth quite quickly, getting information, giving out information. Whichever way you cut it, things are picking up. Now, if it is about communication, it's clear communication. It's direct communication. It's no kind of like beating around the bush or trying to imply things, any of that. No, it's clear, it's direct, and it's getting somewhere. Like, it's an 8. So we're almost at the end of that cycle. Whenever we look at 8s, and not just for the 8 of Wands, but we have the 8 of Pentacles here too. We know we've put in a lot of effort, we've put in a lot of time into this situation. Now we're starting to see, the light at the end of the tunnel. We know we're getting somewhere. So yeah, great energy to have as your underlying energy. One's all about our passions, our creativity, the energy we put out into the world. So if you're ready to kind of put something out there, like tell someone how you feel. We do have the Ace of Cups coming up here. Or if it's about work, so we have the 8 of Pentacles too. What I've been saying to the other signs, the readings I've did before yours, and I'm going to say it to you as well, is that the energies feel big. When we get like the Wheel of Fortune, when we're getting the world, this is not just one area. It's a general reading anyway, but this is not just your love life. This is not just work. This is everything across the board. It's affecting everything. But yeah, it could be starting off with some form of communication here. You're kind of getting and giving information here. I like this exchange. So at the heart of your reading, it's the 8 of Pentacles, another 8. So very balanced energy, as much as this is kind of like standing in the eye of the storm. That's what I'm getting here. Like, things might be rushing around you. You kind of know this, kind of might be even be pressured to get things done. You're moving towards something, but you're grounded, you're rooted. You know what you're doing and why you're doing this. So if we have a look at the 8 of Pentacles, I always call this guy, he's the apprentice, right? And you look at him and you think, this must be really boring, repetitive work that he's doing, because he's making the same pentacle again and again and again. But his focus is always on the pentacle that he's making. Doesn't matter if there was a fault on the last one. Doesn't matter what he did. He's focused very intently on what it is that he's doing in that moment. This does talk about focus, diligent work, effort that we're putting in something that we do not mind putting effort into because we know it's going to yield results. So yeah, this might be communication about work, working on ourselves even. Like, you might be having a conversation with someone now saying, well, this is what I'm going through. This is where I'm headed, or this is what I want to do. But it's something that you have been putting effort into, and I feel like you feel like you've reached a level of mastery, especially with the Emperor coming up here. You have reached a level of mastery here. Maybe there's something you can teach. Maybe there's something now that if this is and I'm going more towards work there, or studies, that kind of thing. But if we're talking about a relationship, and we have the Ace of Cups coming up here as the foundation, then this is where we're going to be talking to our partners and saying something like, well, this is what I want. I want us to be headed here. I want us to have that house in a year. I want us to be, have kids in 10 years, or whatever it is. This is those kinds of conversations that we're having, building something solid together. You know where you're going with this. But the Ace of Cups doesn't just talk about romance. Yes, aces are about opportunities that we have, but, potentials that come our way, but we must take advantage of them. And so the Ace of Cups talks about a new cycle that begins emotionally for us. New cycles always begin when an ace shows up. And this is about our emotional growth, our spiritual growth, some new start that we get. And it makes us happy to do that. It makes us happy to start that new cycle. And it doesn't mean we completely start a new relationship, although for some people it might be, or a new job that makes us happy. It's more to do with how we feel about something changes. We're feeling about something in a different way, and we're starting a new cycle with that. And it's interesting that comes up, because it feels like you are really focused on what's going to make you happy, and you've been putting in the work to get it done. I mean, that's what you want. You want Pentacles, which is earth energy, slow building, solid. What is tangible? What is real here? What brings security and stability? This passion, creativity, saying what you really feel, saying what your desires are, your passions are, putting them out there. Where does all of this lead? Well, we have the Wheel of Fortune coming up in the present. A beautiful card, an amazing energy. I know it's often said about it's called the Wheel of Fortune, right? It's just called the wheel in this deck, but it talks about fate stepping in. Now, what does that mean? Because some people don't even believe in fate. Like, they don't have a concept of that, you know, of what fate is or what destiny is or what souls are and karma and all of this stuff. You don't need to. In other words, it always comes down to semantics. In other words, this can talk about opportunities that come your way. One thing we know for sure is that the seasons keep changing, right? That wheel keeps turning. Nothing lasts forever. The good times don't last. The bad times won't last either. It talks about this wheel that turns. Sometimes it can be a situation that comes back round again. But even if it's a situation that comes back round again, it feels like it's something that you've been working towards. And okay, going to say this, and please, people, don't lose your mind. Some people do. This might be a situation that comes back round again, and you're maybe talking to someone from your past. Does not have to be an old lover. Does not have to be an ex. Maybe someone that you worked with 5 years ago, and now they're talking to you about, hey, where I work now, it's great. I was thinking about you for this position that's just opened up. Can be those kinds of conversations. It may be a new person that you meet, and they remind you of this situation from the past, but you're going to do things differently this time. Maybe a relationship with someone in the past really got messed up. It got messed up so bad. But now you're like, I'm not that same person. I'm not going to do the same thing here. I'm not going to allow the other person to treat me the same way. We're going to do things differently this time. So maybe you're opening up and communicating in a different way than you did in the past. But this is, I always see it as fortune. Now, some people say it's good luck or good fortune. I don't believe in good or bad. I believe change is a wonderful thing. And when the energy shifts, it gives us an opportunity to do something differently. But it's about opportunities and seizing them. Now, whatever comes up here, and there may be offers coming in here. And that's why I always say, like, people say it's a good luck card, like good luck's coming in. What does that mean, though? You know, sometimes, have you ever gotten a job that you think like, oh my God, I really wanted that job? You think you want it and you get it. And that sounds like good luck. But then you get there and you're like, it's boring. It's the same old. I don't want this. So it's always about growth and change. On the surface, things don't always look like they're good, or they might look bad, but then you kind of get into it and you think, wow, this is good. One of my exes once said to me that whenever a new opportunity comes up for me, he's a Gemini, he goes, every time a new opportunity comes up for you, I will always say no. My first reaction is always no. That's my fixed element. That I don't know how I feel about this change, but once I give it a go, like 2 weeks in, I'm loving it. You know, this is amazing. This is great. So it can be that kind of energy. Now, if you go with it, if you kind of do things differently this time, make the most of these opportunities that come up, where does that lead? Well, it kind of feels like this is what you were looking for to close off a cycle, a major life cycle that's been going on in your life. I've been reading for a lot of Capricorns recently, actually, in the last couple of weeks. I love reading for you guys. And she kind of, not just her, she said it to me this week. Two other people said it to me last week. They were like, I'm really sorry. I think Capricorn energies are kind of tough on, I've had Capricorns reaching out to me to say, like, as a reader, I hope you're okay. Capricorn energies are really tough right now. They might be, like, you know, I don't think the energies are easy for anyone, but it depends on how you go with them. And that's the Wheel of Fortune. So the world says you've successfully completed that cycle, and it's one that you've put heart, soul, you know, blood, sweat and tears into, with this Eight of Pentacles coming up here. Now you get the result. Sometimes when this card comes up, I've had clients say to me, Jay, how can you say successful completion of a cycle? That, you know, I've not got a job, or I don't have a relationship, or I don't have this. And it's like, well, whatever you needed to get out of that situation, whatever lessons you needed to learn, whatever you got into that for. So maybe you took on a course. It was a really difficult course, but you took it on, and now you have that degree at the end of it to say that, look, I did it. It wasn't easy, but you got that. At a very kind of literal level, mundane level, it can talk about that. But it can be a job that you've been in it for like 20 years, and now you're thinking, I really want to grow. I want to do something different. I want my own business. I want something like that. And there's nothing more I can get out of where I am. But you've done everything that you can. And this is a pat on the back. This is, look, we have a huge victory wreath there. You have successfully completed that cycle. And we don't always see the success immediately. But yeah, this is the card for Saturn, your ruler. So you've done everything that you needed to do. I'd say you've got mastery in whatever it was. If you've been off working on yourself, you did it. And it goes back, all of this goes back to this, whatever this spark was here, whatever this budding emotion was here that you thought, this is how I want to feel. This is how I feel. And I want to grow this. I'm coming from this place of heart that this is what I want to achieve. This is where this is all leading. Major arcana, the whole bottom row is major arcana energy. This is energy that happens to us. And it feels like in some ways, and I don't like to use like reward and punishment type terms for the energies that take place, but it feels like that. It feels like that hard work now pays off. Was you putting the energy out there. Now it starts coming back to you, the results of what it is that you've been doing. Where does that leave you? What's the advice? Well, the advice is the Emperor. Don't let up now. That's what this is saying. The Emperor, he takes control. He takes charge in a situation. Some of you may be dealing with an Aries. This is the card for Aries. But you have Mars in your sign right now. That's Aries. Mars is the ruler of Aries. And have a look at this guy. Like, he's an elderly gentleman and he's sat on his throne. You can imagine he's been through a lot. He's held on to his empire. He runs it really well. But he's not complacent. He's sat there in his armor. He's ready to fight. If, someone threatens his empire, he's going to go and fight for it. He's ready to do that. His way or the highway, always. The Emperor is in control. He's in charge. But for some of you that this is a work reading, you might be now asked to step up and take control. Like, be a boss. This is the boss, the father figure, the authority figure in the tarot. For others of you, this is a romantic reading. I don't care if you're a man, a woman, don't relate to any gender. The Emperor is telling you whatever this love was that you wanted, or something that, even if it's not romantic, but whatever that thing is that you love, that, you want, that feeling that you want, and anything that we want, any job, any amount of money, any house, car, I don't care what it is, relationship that you want it because it's going to make you feel a certain way. Time to step up and go get it. This guy takes control of a situation. But the kind of advice with him always is that he can sometimes be a little stubborn. And he's not open to other ways of doing things. And I have to say that, if you've gone through the Eight of Pentacles energy, and if you've got Eight of Wands, like back and forth energy coming in, there's more than one way of doing things now. And you seem to know that. So it might be opening up to other ways of doing things. I mean, successful completion, you've learned something from this cycle, right? So now it's time to take charge. I kind of get the sense that with this Ace of Cups here, or some of you might have started a relationship here, or started a hobby or something that you truly love, that when you started it you thought, wow, this is it, this is going to make me really happy. It's time to kick it up a notch with the Emperor here. You're taking it and starting a new cycle with this, and it's about being more in control than you ever have. This is not passive energy, not whatsoever. You've got some level of stability now you can act, now you can go forward. The kind of what can happen sometimes when the Emperor shows up is, well, I haven't done it that way. This is not how I've done it. I got my empire. I got to this point by doing it this way. But that's the whole point. You go from apprenticeship to mastery, to being the master in that, whatever it is that you've been working on. Right, let's pull you a few more clarifiers. Sometimes I've just got this that came to me. It can be like, the example I'm going to use, like, say you were writing a book, and sometimes we can write the book, we can write the story, right? The kind of energy that's coming up, especially with these two, it's like knowing when to do full stop, the end, when to end it. Sometimes we can keep tinkering away at it because we've been working at it for so long. We just think, okay, well, if I just do this, and because then we have to take the next step, right? Which is to get it edited, publish it, do that whole thing. But we've kind of gotten comfortable in the working on the book part. And it kind of feels like this is like saying, no, this is complete. This project is complete now. I've done it. I've got the information I need out of it. I've done whatever I needed to. New opportunities are coming in. A new cycle's about to begin. So now I need to take charge. I need to make that call that this is done. This is because the dream here wasn't to write the book. It was to be a successful author, right? To be published. That was the dream. But you can get stuck in the Eight of Pentacles, which is just the daily, right? Because you like the routine, right? You wake up every day, you've gotten into it. It was hard at first, but now you've gotten into it. Now it's about taking it to the next level. Some of you might be dealing with someone like this, but I'm not getting that. The readings have been so personal, like to the person's energy. Of course, this could be like someone that you're dealing with. Maybe they're kind of stuck in their work. I'm not getting that though. For some of you, that might be the case. It's general, so I have to say it because it goes both ways. This feels very much like your energy though. And it's about you stepping up and taking charge. So this might be where some of you have been. And so this can be overwhelming then. If you've been kind of like this guy's hanging around, right? This is being in limbo. He's hanging from his foot, but we have a look at him. He's kind of surrendered. He's surrendered to that position. Now this can talk about sacrifice too. He might, what is he sacrificed to be hanging here? But why is he hanging here? Why is he stuck in limbo? Because he's gaining a new perspective on things. he now sees the world from an upside down position. So everything looks different. Literally everything looks from a different angle. He's seeing everything. And we see this kind of halo around his head because he's being enlightened by what he sees. His perspective is changing, and everyone's getting this message, guys. It feels like whatever everyone has been through, no one's the same. That everything has shifted. How they see things has shifted, and very much so for you guys. And that's going to be where this might be a struggle for you, because you've always done things a certain way, and it's got you to where you are, you know. But it might be time to fine tune that and to build on that. Because, yeah, it got you this far, but you're about to start something new. And so that's what the hangman, like I said, can talk about sacrifice, change of perspective when we surrender. But once we gain that change of perspective, it can be, some of you, you'll be waiting for some information. And that comes in with the Eight of Wands. Because sometimes the hangman can be waiting for that final bit of information before you move forward. Comes in, and then things to pick up, and things can pick up, and things go very quickly after that. But this is that kind of lull. Not a lot happens, externally at least, when the hangman shows up. Internally, there's a lot shifting and changing. And I think that has been, what's been the change of perspective on that? It's been this, the Five of Swords. This is that question of, what's this going to cost me? And it's very ruthless energy. Some people call it selfish. I think selfish is a much maligned word, but you know, this is that sense of, what do I want? And so this guy wants the swords, right? And he's like, okay, I want the swords. How badly do I want them? Because it's going to cost me my two friends at the back. Now, they've gone into battle with him. It's cost them the swords, but they have each other. So no one's a clear winner here. Everyone's lost something. Everyone's gained something. Like, they're left with something. But I don't think that's the case with you. I think that's been your attitude always, that, you know, if I go for this, what's it going to cost me? If I do this, like weighing up the pros and cons in a very kind of, not in a Two of Pentacles kind of practical way. This is inside. What's it going to cost me to do this? Emotionally, mentally, even financially, maybe with the Eight of Pentacles coming up there. But what's it going to cost me? How far am I willing to go? And that's what the hangman's been figuring out this. But it leads to like a clear-cut victory, success with that world coming up. This is an empty victory, but this is not. And it leaves you in control, going with it. Now, you have the Four of Wands coming up here as well. And I love this card. It's a celebration. It's when it's telling you whatever you've done, and I was getting that with the 2 8s, there is a firm foundation here. Now, fours, there isn't a lot of movement when fours come up as well. So it's very similar to the Hanged Man. But this can be a change of job, a change of house, you know, just leveling up in a relationship, commitment. What are you committed to? So for some of you that this is a romantic reading, it kind of feels like here it might have been that you were being asked to commit to something, or, you know, taking a relationship maybe to the next level. It might have had a good start. You might even still be in that relationship, but you've been figuring out, like, you know, do I have the time and effort to give to this? What's it going to cost me in other ways? You know, the house move, can we do it? I'm working so hard. I'm trying to get that, achieve that, that promotion right now. So it's all of weighing that up. But it happens now. Now you're at that place. That foundation has been laid. You've put in the work. It kind of feels like now it's the time to move forward. You can take that step forward. Something that you've been building on and trying to grow and trying to make happen. Now you can take the action because the time is right. That's what the Wheel of Fortune says. The time is right. And I think you're about the 4th or 5th sign that has gotten that message. Love yourself first. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. It's the Emperor. You can bet he loves himself first. He's very solid. I mean, like I said, he gets a very bad reputation because he can be stubborn. That's every card has a negative and a positive energy, or a lighter and a darker energy. All of them do. And his is that he can be very stubborn. But here, it's about feeling in control. And whatever kind of love life you want. So some of you might have been wanting this love life for a long time and it's just not been happening. You've been pulled in every other direction. You've had to wait around. You've been trying to see, what's it going to cost me? What am I doing? Now, whatever the Emperor, he knows that, you know, whatever he wants out of something, he has to embody that. He is the embodiment of control, of like, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. And I always say every great love story begins with how we love ourselves. So love yourself first. It's 3 and I saw them, so I'm going to have to take them. I don't usually take them with their face down, but these are face up. So be supportive, make a genuine effort to show you care. So that's maybe the Emperor. Maybe you're having to step in and help someone else, and that's what the communication is. Be supportive. Love makes a difference. Love can help heal past hurts and provides a sense of security, self-worth, and importance. So that might be it. Like, you know, there's some communication, like I said, it doesn't even have to be with someone from the past. It, you know, the actual communication, it could be about someone or something from the past. And it's about finding love in the present now. Like, you had this. For some of you, I'm going to say this, there might have been something that was a non-starter. It kind of started, it was only the ace, but nothing came of it. And that's what, you know, now you're ready to go forward with that. And then for others, if you check this out, new love, embrace the new opportunity of love that is here. This may pertain to work opportunities or spiritual growth. And it does feel like, I'm going to say this with the Ace of Cups coming up here and the Emperor, that might be what the Wheel of Fortune's bringing around again. And that opportunity again, no, it doesn't have to be with the same person or the same company, but you know, you have a new opportunity. This time, are you going to take control and do it? Treasure Island. I was actually getting that feeling from this reading anyway. Treasure Island, it's a beautiful card. It talks about you now have the map. You have the map to the treasure on this island. You know where X marks the spot. But even if you know it, you can see it on the map. When you're walking around your island, you need to be able to spot those opportunities and take advantage of them. Wheel of Fortune says that. That yes, it doesn't matter if you have every opportunity in the world that comes your way, unless you step up and say, yeah, taking that, doing that, taking control, right?